Hello, happy Monday. Welcome to a whole new week before Christmas, but it's not long now. I have some improvements, so no changes here at the beginning. And I haven't done my page for the 15th yet, but here we go. What I have done is, do you see anything new on my desk? I've got a new white pen. So, I was able to finish the journaling here. Still don't have any good frosty pictures because we haven't had frost again. But I'm not going to give up hope. I'm going to reserve this for a frosty photo sometime before the 6th of January. And if we get no frost at all, then I'll just put any old other lovely Christmas photo here as a whole piece. And that'll be okay too. It could always be a Christmas tree photo to go across this. There we go. My 15th entry is going to go there once I've had a few days to kind of breathe from it and start again with a clear mind. Here's what I did yesterday, still happy with that. And that puts us here for day 17. Now, day 17 is our different kind of list, not a gift list, but a different kind of list. And I am going to document crossing something off my list. Remember I have that gap at the beginning because I hadn't done my Christmas cards yet? Guess what I've done now. I did a photo shoot for some friends for their Christmas cards and got a photo for our Christmas cards as well. It's not actually this one, but this is an outtake from the same shoot, so I'm going to use that with the journaling because that's not the photo on the cards. And when my cards arrive, then I'll put a whole card in here. So I've got the back of this, which is perfect. So I picked 4 photos from their session to go in here behind these. Which way do I want it? I think it's that way. Yep. And there we go. Now, this is an example of a case where there will be journaling that won't be obviously on show. So sometimes in my journal, when you look over the years, it looks like there's less writing now, but actually there's still a lot of writing, but it might just not be as obvious. So I will do something like fill in this journaling on, say, a tag like this and put it in between like that. And it can either stay up at the top, or I can take some of it off so that you just get the tiny little tab, which is probably what I'll do. So why don't I take that down a little bit smaller. So I can journal on that front and back, and I don't decorate things like that unless I don't have enough journaling to fill it. I will just literally write the whole, just fill in the whole space, front and back, with notes about this family and all of that. So these are friends. This little girl has been friends with Wonder Boy. They're 36 hours apart. So I obviously have notes on taking Christmas card photos for them. But I'm not going to make it my main journaling. I'm going to make it one that's tucked away because it's the more personal notes I put away. In my older journals, I leave that stuff, I left a lot more of it out in the open. And I'm okay with that natural change. It wasn't something I did on purpose. It just kind of happened that the more personal notes ended up more hidden, and that's fine. It's worked well for me because sometimes when people come into the house, and I keep all my Christmas journals out during Christmas, and if somebody picks them up, I don't want them to ever feel like, oh, I've read a little too much. And so it works fine. It's not that anything there is something that would make you feel awkward, but sometimes I'm a little emotional in my writing. Okay, so I'm going to put this one on a 6x8 page here, so I need some paper to put that on. I'm going to add my date here in the middle. I'm hoping that'll look okay from the other side. I think it will. Yeah, because it'll be green. I'm just going to cut this into a circle, but if I put it in like this, you can see that it's a little bit off center. I need to trim a little bit off the bottom edge before I can get it centered. Let's see if that does it. There we go. And then that one's going to go over here. I think. Add some brown around the edge, and I'll stick that on with some super sticky red backed tape. And just pop it right on top of the page protector. Right in the middle there. That's a happy framing there of the open space in that photo. Okay, that's going to go up to the top there, and over here I'm going to have some room for journaling. I was trying to see where I like this one, and because he's cut off on this side, I like putting that all the way over to the edge. So I'm going to put my journaling space on this side. Now my journaling paper is white and this is cream, but in this case I am going to mix it because I've got white over here as well, and there's a lot of cream tone to the photos, so I think it's all going to come together okay. There's also quite a lot of white tone to this photo, so that's going to be fine. This is the same height as the photo, but I'm going to tear the top and then ink these two edges that are going to be exposed. The other edge is going to be tucked underneath the picture. That one's going to go all the way to that edge. This one's going to be all the way to this edge. And in the middle, a bit of green. I'm just going to ink it and offset it so that it's not perfectly in line, so that it's just this little bit that's wonky in the middle, just to give it a bit of a layer. Photo. Okay, I'm going to put my journaling on here before I do anything else.
Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. The horse knows the way to carry the sleigh through the white and drifted snow. Over the river and through the woods, oh how the wind does blow. It stings the toes and bites your nose as over the ground we go.
I've got a little bit of space here, so I'm just going to add one little stamped word up there. And I haven't used this wonderful stamp, and it's quite a nice little fit. So I'm going to stamp wonderful up there at the top in green. And then I'm going to add a little bit of embellishment here. I've got those little trees, here we go, here's one, that are the negatives that came out of the little wood grain tree background that I used the other day. So I'm going to add that in there. And then I feel like it needs a little something. So why don't we go ahead and break out the twine. Now what I have found is that the twine has a bit of a learning curve. Don't freak out if the first thing you do with it goes a little wrong. Try bigger, more rounded shapes rather than teeny tiny little curlicues. So I don't have the board that is the wire jig board where you can pop the little pins on this little board that kind of looks like a Light-Brite. It has little holes that you can put pegs in, and then you wrap your wire around. So instead I'm going to use things from my desk. So I'm going to use my big bottle of mist here to start me off, and I'm just going to do one loop around with a little bit extra, and then chop that. And when I cut it, I do use my normal scissors, but I come right to the point so that I'm not doing anything down here where you're more likely to end up with a dent in your scissors. But right down here is going to be easier to cut. Of course, if you've got wire cutters, use those. I'm sure, I mean, I know I do have some here in the house, but I'm going to be lazy and just use my scissors when it's just one cut. So here's what I'm going to do is keep that circle, and you'll see that at the ends the wire is going to want to peek out of your twine. It's okay. If you've got a photo that is irreplaceable, don't put that in your Christmas journal. Go get it scanned, take a photo of it so that you've got a backup. Then if you have something go wrong like wire, you won't cry. You'll just be able to print the photo again. But what you can do here is I'm going to put the wire so it's on the pattern paper, not the edges of the wire are going to be on the pattern paper, not on the photo. Now, how to adhere it? Well, it's a little heavier than I imagined, so the dots are not quite, my normal dot adhesive is not quite what I want, and in pulling it over, it's quite easy to pull the twine off the wire. So, liquid glue is your friend, which is not something that I use often, but every once in a while, that is what you need. So I'm going to use some, in this case, glossy accents. It does not need to be glossy accents, and I am going to do it very sparingly so that I don't end up with a big pool on my photo. One extra little tip that if you're trying to add adhesive to this and it's going a little crazy because you're adding liquid to something that's so small, use a tiny little paintbrush and then you can get it to go right onto the twine and then push it down over the top. And you can also use a tiny dry paintbrush to go around the edge and collect up anything that might go astray. Then I'm just going to finish this little embellishment group here with a cute little heart right on the side of that tree. And that just needs gold mist, and then it'll be done. So let's shake that up. There we go. And do my mist there on top of the green. Okay, so that will need to dry, but I can put it in its spot. And there we go. 4 photos over here, a bigger photo over here, a little bit of journaling here. That's all stuff that I'm quite happy for everybody to read, and then more details like a little note to this little girl on that tag that'll be tucked away. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you again tomorrow on the 18th. Have a great and crafty and festive day. Bye-bye.